I think that might be the name of this episode. Let it happen.
There you
That
go.
is so perfect.
Love it.
Detachment, letting it go, surrendering, and just let it all happen. Let life happen for you and not to you, I think, is one of my most favorite ways to put life. We are here at the beautiful beach. Where are we at? Newport Beach?
This is Balboa Pier in
Balboa
Newport
Pier
Beach.
in Newport Beach with the sun just beaming and making sure I'm getting all my brownness even more brown. So let me know, let everybody know we're here with Book of Jonah. Who are you? What are you about for those that don't know?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. We got a chance to meet a couple years ago, my first public speaking, the Conscious Life Expo. And yeah, so basically, I'm somebody who woke up to an alternate reality after a near-death experience in 2019 where I wasn't Jonah anymore. I was born with the name Jonah, but I had those memories, but I wasn't that person anymore. And I could see the world for what it was.
Yeah.
Started seeing repeating numbers, heavy deja vu. I could almost hear people's thoughts. Actually, I could hear people's thoughts. I could see basically who they were, and I could see all these patterns and all these names that had come through my life that um, were just particular patterns. It was like almost like a set of algorithms. And then, so I started to correct my course and wanted to really help change the world. And I think all of us, you know, the last 3 years I've been across 33 countries and 37 states, traveling, whether sleeping in tents, sleeping on the ground, sleeping in mansions. It's been a journey. But, you know, interviewing people and talking to people around the world, and we all kind of have the same patterns of being the black sheep of our family. At a young age, we knew we were supposed to do something so important in life, and we had no clue what it was until now. This awakening kind of happened where we all during the pandemic started to wake up out of the coma to see that we have a bigger life purpose, that we've always had these spiritual gifts, and that we're here to help teach people to help ascend and evolve. And most of us were the black sheep, and now the black sheep are becoming kind of the leaders of the pack in this awakening.
Yeah, I think the black sheep very much are the change makers in families, collectively, of course, but like in the family, the ones that are kind of pushed to the side that are weird, not different, they're
Right.
the ones that are bringing all of the stuff out and talking about things and making what we've been pushing under the rug, we're bringing it out
Right.
and we're getting rid of it. I love that.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to say that a lot of us, we just couldn't go with the program. Like, for example, most of us were good with things, like we were good at everything from video games. If we wanted to be good at school, if we wanted to be good at sports, whatever we were, but we would get bored with
Yeah.
things and we would evolve. We consistently evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a part of our thing, is just breaking change, breaking cycles for the good and the bad, but ultimately it always ends up for the good. So we always recognize each other. You meet people and you just know, like a soul recognition, that I never met this person before, but I know this person.
Yeah, they get it.
Black sheeps understand black sheep, because that's why I used to say team weirdo.
Team Weirdo. Oh my God, I love that so much. I have a sticker that says "We are the weirdos, Mister" from I think it's The Craft. But
That's hilarious.
because it's like I was telling you, I made a personal life decision recently, and I was like, it's not quote unquote normal. It doesn't seem stable. Like I don't think it's a regular family choice that most moms would make, but I was given an opportunity, so I made a move. But I think people like you and I, and a lot of people that watch the show, are realizing what is normal, what is a regular move.
Everything that I talk a lot about the simulation in the sense of we choose everything before we come. But there's still a spiritual component of what we do. The goal is to become like Christ, or become in the God frequency where you create your reality. And so when you really start to truly unlock and understand, we're all a set of patterns. You can choose whatever you want to do. You want to be a greeter at Walmart, you want to be a spiritual healer, you want to be a Reiki. We're here to affect people's energy and get them to change and correct their course without forcing it on them or telling them that.
Yeah.
To change anybody, you have to change your frequency. So
That part. One more time. One more time.
I finally figured out, because recently I talked to my mom, and it was been a hard journey where I had this Moses type journey where I had to just, I got a calling from God, and I don't talk much about that, but it's something that it was undeniable. The
Yeah.
universe was telling me. So My mom, I talked to her for the first time in 3 years, and I know she's waking up. And all these people that I went through life with, my first girlfriend reached out to me from years ago,
Oh, wow.
and they're like, she's like, Jonah, I seen one of your videos, and she's like, I'm the only person I know that's awake. What like?
Mm,
So
yeah.
now I started to see that you're connected to every single person you ever had any kind of relationship with. And
Hmm.
our ego wants to say, look at those chemtrails, or the earth is
Yeah.
flat, or the earth is round, or there's aliens.
Uh-huh.
But that's not the way you do it.
Hmm.
You change you evolve, and you affect all the contracts you've ever been in. That's how you make the change in frequency.
I personally need to really hear that right now. So thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just for me, but for everybody else too.
Yeah.
So I love that. I had a download before I was right before I parked here, and my friend was asking me like, "What's my next plan? What do I want to do next?" And I'm like, "I'm here to inspire your intuition.
Mm.
I'm not here to teach you, to show you. I'm here to help you transmute, to help you dig a little bit deeper. I do readings, and I'll be honest, for like it's a lot of just it makes people more comfortable to bring up the tarot cards. I don't need the tarot cards. I could read you up and down without the cards.
Right.
But it's just a form of divination. It's a tool, right? But a lot of people get shocked at how I don't know these people and I just dig to the depths of their soul. And then they're like, "You're so talented." And I'm like, "No, I'm just a reflection of you.
Right.
I was just your opportunity to finally hear what you've been wanting to hear. It's not me, I'm just a speaker."
That's it.
So I take zero credit for it. I'm blessed that I'm able to speak. But outside of that, we're just here to inspire. And like you said, it's a collective ascension at the end of the day.
It's the collective ascension. And if you ask me a question, you're talking to yourself. You are channeling through, we channel through
Mhm.
each other. We are all a part of the same collective conscience, and you can get answers from the universe. So the fact that you're able to tap into that and read people's energy, I think the most common gift that most of us have is the intuition.
Mhm.
Since the time you were a child, you could feel somebody's energy
Yeah.
when they walked in the room. You knew if they were a good person or a bad person. But the ability to help people through that, and then give them the answers that just come through you. All you
Mhm.
have to do is ask me a question, and
Yeah.
you are talking to you.
Mhm.
And when you recognize it, that we're all one, it's like the universe just communicates with you and gets louder and louder, and you get all the answers. You surrender and let it guide you.
Mhm. You never feel alone after
And
that.
that too,
Yeah.
that part too, because most of us felt alone. Most of us at some point didn't want to be here. It wasn't about, never about money or these other things, but you just, I think you get your heart broken 1,000 times here. It's not even so much the boyfriend girlfriend type thing.
Mhm.
It's more of just, we, as empaths and as people who carry a large amount of frequency, we love very hard.
Yeah.
We feel pain
Yeah.
like deeper. And so to get to this level of the game and knowing that it's go time, it's fun time,
Mhm.
that's really where we want to be at.
And you have this beautiful path you're on. Like you said, what was it, 33 countries?
33 countries: Israel,
Oh my
Thailand,
God.
Sri Lanka, UK, I mean, France. I did notice something though, that in Ireland, there's certain parts of the world that I felt more tapped in.
Oh, really?
Like the simulation is the same everywhere, in the sense of, I always use this example of Houston.
Uh-huh.
And Houston, if you walk, it's called the fattest city in the United States
Uh-huh.
because there's more restaurants per capita.
Yeah.
So you walk out and there's 15 restaurants on the corner. You got a liquor store, candy store, a mattress store, strip club. Like,
Oh
it's
my
the same
God.
program. So you see the people wearing the same clothes,
Mm-hmm.
the same, they're essentially being programmed subconsciously
Mm-hmm.
without doing it. That's the same around the world, but there's certain particular places where you go and it elevates our consciousness, which is, it's just, you feel so much more tapped in. And I think that's uh the biggest lesson that I can give anybody, if they have the ability to travel the ley lines,
Mm-hmm.
which are the just the chakras of the earth, the energetic grid,
Okay.
pyramids of Giza, Mount Shasta, Sedona. There's a reason there was a lot of or
Mm-hmm.
UFO UAP sightings there. It's because there's an energy that vibrates, and it does something to us too.
Wow. So it's almost like, would you say it's like a kind of like a beacon? So like they're up here, right? Like flying around. Is it
Yeah.
like a ding ding, go there kind of vibe?
The earth is alive in fifth dimension consciousness with us. The earth is ascending too. The earth is growing.
Mhm.
And so as it vibrates, I believe there is an opponent here. And the opponent knows where these spots are active, which is why they spray chemicals in the sky. So they go to these places, these grid lines. It's a power source for them.
Yeah.
That for these crafts and these beings, but for us too.
Wow.
A lot of times we're led to places just like Los Angeles. This is one of the highest vibrational places in the world. There's a reason millions of people's energy gravitates here, and it's not the beach, and it's not the weather. There's something in the land that makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
But in the opposite, it's the other way too, where it makes people that don't have good intentions, it makes them alive too. So they understand
you're plugged in, period.
that you're just plugged in. It's like,
what are you doing with the energy?
that's exactly right. You can be a villain or you can be a hero. But to graduate, you got to be the hero.
Oh, and that's, I would hope that's most of you guys' goals here.
Yeah.
They're just watching this podcast. But to each their own.
I think most people would say they don't want to come back and repeat the Earth School again, that they had fun, they rode the rides, they got a lot of good, things. And, some people may want to come back. I've always been shown in the beginning that the reward that comes when we finish and graduate for what we did collectively and energetically and healed our family and ancestral lines, that you're going to be like, that was awesome. I want to come back and do that again as a different character in a different part of the world and see that contrast. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, nada, I'm down.
It's been real. I gotta go.
Yeah, for real.
I feel that. So Mount Shasta, Sri Lanka, all of these beautiful places that you've been, how did it start? Like, who just gets up and takes off?
It's I haven't told this story many times, but I just got this calling. I came out as 2021. My TikTok was 2 weeks old, and I put out the call, and I basically said, I'm an alien, that I remember that I'm not from here, that I chose to be in a human avatar. And so, I had a CBD Delta 8 store in Houston, but right by NASA. I grew up by NASA, and I was starting to already identify the patterns. For example, I was a general manager of a health club. Right before that, my store number was 313. The song Jesus Walks by Kanye West is 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I lived in apartment number 313.
Oh my God.
If you look up 313 in Islam, there was 313 people that stood up against the world. So it's a significant number. And so these patterns were happening right before, the day before I left Texas. This was on Christmas Day, 2021. Something happened supernatural where my TV took over. Imagine your TV turning on and then the YouTube turning on.
Oh my God.
And you feel like somebody's controlling your remote from somewhere. And a guy named Will, who quit his job in Georgia, came to pick me up. And we're sitting there, and a 6-video montage plays. And it plays this song 24 by Kanye West. It plays the song Otis. It plays We Are the World, We Are the Children. The last song, there's Closed on Sunday, which if you watch these videos, there's a lot of messaging from there. The last song was a song called Tadao, which is basically he flicks a passport in the beginning of the song.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yeah. So he plays the song, and I knew it was time to go. And I had already been getting the downloads 2 weeks prior to that the messaging was coming through. You got to leave everything behind to get this message out to the world. I said, Will, we got to go. And we go outside in the hallway. There's a lady standing there, and she does her head like this. And I'm living in Seabrook, Texas, off of 146, again, not far from NASA. So we go and get in the car, and then we look, and then she pulls out and starts driving. Now, looking back, I don't know if somebody controlled her avatar or if she was just tapped in, whatever. But she starts taking me around all my old businesses, all my best friend's house. We were driving, following her for 2.5 hours, took me to such specific places that only I would know. And my parents' old house, my parents' new house, my best friend's house. And then I started to cry because I knew that I was never going to see these people again. That I was going to have to basically leave everything behind. So the next, she turns off after 2.5, 3 hours. The next morning, go back to go back to sleep. The next morning, get up, pack 4 pair of clothes, my passport. We go to this little beach right by where I lived in Seabrook, and it's called El Jardín. And the next thing you know, nobody ever goes to this beach, and it gets full. Like when I say full, 50 people. It's a little small stretch of beach. and these people are wearing like full hijabs, and everybody is staring at me like somebody pushed pause on the game, and it was like they were sending me off like on this farewell, where I was just like, I know I had to go, but that was just more and more confirmation. It was the strangest thing ever, where I could feel all these energies. We get in the car, and then that's when we head to LA. And then all along the way, I was being gang stalked, where I felt this dark energy. I'll give you an example. We would stop at a Love's truck stop. You know Love's?
Yeah.
Okay. And all the toilets would be broken, and then people would stare, giving you like these looks like they want to hurt you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you like, why, like, dude, why are you looking at me like this? And it would be this certain type of people, and then there would be other people that were coming to cleanse the energy at the same time. It was this weird thing
Yeah.
where we were protected all along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and then we come to LA, and it doesn't make sense for most people, but it was just, I felt God was speaking through people,
Yeah.
showing me who I was, and showing me that I was going to have to say a lot of uncomfortable things. I had left my CBD store, I left my apartment, my suits, diploma, everything that I've ever like collected in this last run,
Mm-hmm.
because it was something I was supposed to do.
That kind when you said say things you don't like want to say, get uncomfortable, right? What came to mind is the black sheep idea. You're used to being the uncomfortable one. You're used to being the one that says something that everyone's like, okay, stop it. That's, you're being too much or this or that, whatever it is.
Right.
It's like you were prepped for it almost.
Everything in life you've been prepped for. And when I first started, even social media wasn't comfortable. Like 6 months before I didn't start TikTok till the end of 2021. Before that, like I didn't even FaceTime. Like I don't even like seeing myself on camera. And then it just got to one of those things where I was just like, in the beginning, you're called schizophrenic, and you're
Mm-hmm.
called an alien, or you're called a demon,
Yeah.
or a fed or a clone. And like, I'm just like, dude, this shit is not worth it. Like,
Yeah.
like seriously, I'm literally trying to help people share my experience. I didn't, and then again, understanding what would happen to Jesus back in the day. Do you think
Yeah.
anybody wanted to hear you? People that had gifts, Jesus would have been called a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Think about
Right
that.
now, if he came
Right
up
now,
right now, people would be like, come on.
he's a
Yeah.
witch. Oh, why, there's certain people here that are less evolved species. I really understand it now.
Mm-hmm.
That if you didn't have the gifts, if I could share things with you and you could feel my authenticity, you would
Mm-hmm.
believe me even if you could see it.
Exactly.
Whereas certain people, they don't even, there's different terms for them, but
Yeah.
basically if somebody can't see what you see, then I get it.
Yeah.
But I had to develop thick skin, and now I don't care, because I just
Mm-hmm.
understand that they're not on the frequency yet.
Yeah, it's not for them. You're not
It's
for
not.
everybody, and you shouldn't want to be for everybody.
But that's the crazy thing, is we are for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because I think by now, we're here to love everybody. We're here to forgive everybody. We're here to not judge everybody.
Yeah,
So we're just not for them at that time.
at that
But
time.
yes, I agree
Mm,
with you.
okay, I like that. I did a magic market. Have you been to that one
Oh,
before? Our mutual goes there, and two of them, and they do markets there too. But it's a 2-day market, and I went there, and I saw, and mind you, this is a market that like they get hundreds of foot traffic to the market. I saw 7 people at my table.
wow.
Yeah, and it's like for a second, it's like the human ego is like, damn, well, one, I just lost a lot of money because that's not a cheap spot.
Right.
But it's like, wow, it's like it becomes like a me thing. Like, why they didn't like me? What was it about me? But it's like, no, the way that I read and the way that I dig into people, it's really not. It's you have to be at a specific place in your life to want to work with me at my table
That,
because it's not fun, it's not pretty. I have to have tissue. My daughter's sitting there taking names and she's like handing people tissue as they're at the table because we talk about stuff that's hard, but you got to get it out the way. You got to make room on your plate for more abundance with like, the idea of manifestation and all of this, like everything that you did. I don't know how you feel about calling it like you manifested this life or whatnot,
Mhm.
but since it's such a big word right now, and I try to tell people it's the inner work. You have to have a paradise inside before you have a paradise outside. What would you say to that?
Yeah, that's very accurate. And when it comes to the word manifest, I think most people had a mini awakening in 2006 when The Secret came out. Law of
Oh,
attraction,
yeah.
thoughts become things, right?
Yeah.
And you create this vision board. But when you understand life, and that past, present, and future has already happened, you've already manifested the life of your dreams. You just have to claim it. Everything you already have is yours. It's literally yours.
Yes.
It's just making it come into fruition. And most people's lives are clogged with people not at the same frequency, uh, physical possessions, some things, everything you have and you hold on to is energy. That can include gifts from exes that maybe didn't have the best intentions for you. It could be, you have to declutter your life to make room and space for what God wants you to have.
Yeah, and
And
that's
God is you.
scary.
And it is
That is
scary
so
because
scary.
once when the strongest thing, there's this line, I ain't never said this one, but there's this line from Power.
Uh-huh.
You remember Power?
I
Did you
didn't
watch
watch that.
Power? Okay. Oh, well, I got this line that basically Tommy is one of the main characters, and he's getting beat down by the Serbians, and the Serbian asks him, "What would your life be like, Tommy, if you didn't have any attachments?"
Ooh,
And that could include anything from kids, because even when you fully wake up, you see that your kids are not even your kids.
yeah.
They're more like your brother and sister, and we sign soul contracts to
Mhm.
be their guides, to bring them into the world, to make them strong, give them the gifts, bestow the gifts. So I'm just saying that to say that ultimately, if you have no attachments, then God, the universe, really provides everything that you want. But it's also understanding that everybody has a different journey.
Mhm.
So it might not be the material gifts this world, because maybe you've been a king or a queen in every incarnation before this,
Mhm.
and you wanted to experience things from a different way in this lifetime.
Yeah. And you get caught up like, well, right now I don't have everything I want, but it's like maybe you did at some point. Maybe right now is just different than that point.
But that's the thing, is that maybe you do have everything you ever wanted. Like the physical possessions here. I look at the earth, I'll talk about this a lot, like a theme park, and you get to ride the rides. And when you have a lot of money, you can ride all the rides. But in reality, that stuff never really completes you or fulfills you, because even at the height, I was a millionaire at 22, and I thought I had my dream relationship at 27, and I still wasn't happy or satisfied. Like something was missing, or there
Mhm.
was something I'm supposed to be doing, just like this horn.
That's the biggest part of this whole podcast. If you take nothing else,
That's
this is
confirmation.
it.
When the universe speaks to you, whether through people, synchronicities,
Mhm.
horns, car
The
accidents,
cars right here, like,
the cars, the license plates behind us, one says 913, which is Neo's birthday from the Matrix. The other one says Eon. I
which
mean,
is Neo, which
yeah.
is
Oh, Neo. I didn't even,
yeah,
oh,
I'm
shit.
dyslexic, so I see that like instantly.
Oh, man. Hold on. I didn't even, oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. Okay.
Oh, and
Okay. Oh,
she's
no,
okay, and
she's
opening
blinking
the
it now.
car
Hold on.
right
I,
now.
I, I got to record this just because. Hold on, man.
That
This
is
is
literally like
crazy.
right as
That's
we said
crazy
it.
as we're talking about it. Okay, sorry about
No,
that.
you're good.
I know we are checking the mic, but
I'm like trying to see if this. I can't even see it.
the thing is, and I'm so glad that just this experience just happened,
Yeah.
because let's talk really quick about the signs and synchronicities the universe shows you.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up, whether it's through plant medicines, I've tapped in a lot of ways spiritually. Every kind of plant medicine I've done, had near-death experiences. I've also tapped in the natural way, fasting,
Mm-hmm.
prayer, meditation, walking, semen retention, all these other ways. But sometimes the universe gets real loud,
Oh my
and you
God.
have to really use discernment
Mm-hmm.
on the messages that are coming through, because you're testing yourself. The earth life is a test. So do you see a lot of signs, like between license plates, receipts?
All the time. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Like multiple times throughout the day. I'm like, I stop telling people because I'm like, I'm annoying. I'm just like letting
Is your
everybody
camera
know.
roll full
Oh,
of pictures
probably.
and angel
Oh yeah.
numbers and that
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Especially my grandma. My grandma's 122, and I see 122 everywhere. Like I will
What's
be.
today?
What is today?
December 2nd, 122. I'm just
I didn't
telling you,
even
this is I'm telling you, this is the kind of
realize that.
see,
Oh, she is like, she's the best. I love you, Wella.
she's with you.
Wow.
That's you didn't
And I
you,
found my malachite ring today. I've been looking for this, looking for one everywhere, and I finally went to a store and got one today. Oh, and I
I
got you
love it.
something too, actually.
Oh
And
man.
let me see if I think I put it in my pocket. Yeah, I did. I got you
Oh man.
malachite too
Oh, I don't think I've had malachite on the journey.
for
Thank
your
you.
heart. I was like, your
Is
heart's
it?
so powerful, so let's add
Oh,
some more power to it.
thank you.
Yeah, I cleansed it before too, so she's
Oh,
good to go.
oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Wow, I love this. Oh my God, that is wild. Yeah, the synchronicities are like I was telling you, even my daughter sees them. Like she's to the point she'll text me stuff
Yeah.
and she'll be like, I finished my test at 222.
Yeah.
Like she gets it. And it's like, I mean, that's a whole other ball game is the kids.
See, here's another synchronicity. You weren't even thinking about what you were saying. You were just sharing a
Mhm.
journey. My son's birthday is 222. You could have chose 333. You could have
Are you
chose 111.
serious?
But these are just the little ones where I'm talking
Yeah.
about. We're in flow. This is a vibration. This is how you know if you've had past lives with people.
Yeah.
The engine starts. It's just a flow of energy of
Mhm.
the kids are so gifted, so tapped in,
Yeah, this
and
generation's wild.
they're more tapped in than we were at an earlier
Mhm.
age, and they can see the patterns. The biggest thing, I think, the biggest thing, because a lot of people go back to sleep in the matrix, it's just the pattern recognition and seeing all these signs that and let me just say this. I was trying to decode everything. The biggest tools that I tell people to use are gematria if they really want to use, like Jay-Z wrote songs based on gematria.
Really?
It's a Kabbalistic method of letters equal numbers.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, 444 is always the example I give. Jesus and Lucifer have the same value.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, they weren't the same person, but in a way they were. It's just
Yeah.
polarity, right?
Mhm.
So gematria, you can, people have opened businesses based on it, name their kids based on it. It's a very
Wow.
powerful tool that your name has a vibration. It's letter, because letters equal numbers and numbers equal energy.
Mhm.
So when you understand that, you can really hack this system, and you see how every single thing from the time you were born has been a pattern and set of algorithms. And when you recognize it, it just becomes more fun. But ultimately, this is the main message that I want to get across to people.
Mhm.
Is everybody wants to use the cheat codes because they want money, and I want to hack the infinite money
Yeah.
code. And I get that.
Yeah.
But all paths, and I'm saying this as somebody named Jonah, and I never thought I would be this dude. You have to learn to fall in love with the creator. You have to learn to fall in love with God again. And I read more Bible scriptures now. I barely bought my first Bible earlier this year, which is crazy. I'm 44
And your name Jonah.
and I'm named Jonah.
Book
Yeah.
of Jonah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's almost like Book of Eli, but that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Oh.
But, but, uh, but all of that being said, everything I believe at the highest timeline, everything leads you to the back to the same place, which is loving yourself, loving God, which God is everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Being appreciative, gratitude for being here at this moment, being like, for me, this is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Like it's being able to have these conversations, not be judged,
Mhm.
and know that we're a tribe. Like
Yeah.
this is like the dawn of creation, and this is why we came. So anyway.
I love that. That's why I was so adamant about creating this space because I have a lot of clients that come to me because they have nobody to talk to about this stuff.
Yep.
They're like, if I talk to anyone, they tell me I'm crazy. My family thinks I'm crazy. No one believes it. And I hope to believe and I aim to be very as least judgmental as I can be. Even if you're quote unquote not a good person, we're all on our own paths.
That's
Like
right.
I've had people do horrific things to me and I don't have an ounce of anything towards them. Like nothing. I'm just, that was your path. You did what you did. I can't control you. I can only control how I feel. No one controls your happiness but you. So creating these spaces where people could see that they're not alone.
Right.
There's more people like them out there and there is a tribe. Like you were talking about your tribe earlier. What does that look like? What is community to you?
Community to me, I'm glad you asked that question, actually, because when I was in Wales last year, I met some people that looked just like me, and it was mixed, and they were like half Belize and
Mhm.
half UK British, but
Oh,
they
wow.
looked like half black, half white,
Yeah.
which in a weird way they are.
Yeah.
So I did this talk, and we were talking about everything from David Icke to aliens and all these things. And at the end, the one of the brothers there, Levi, his mom was there. She's older, and her husband asked her after that, like after the talk, how she felt, and all she could say was, "It felt like I was home." And that really struck me because I'm like, we're power sources, and when you can be in these spaces where it's a trust, it's a knowing, it's a comfort of, okay, it's like being home base. I've
Mhm.
been search I've been searching.
You're home.
I'm home, and I've been searching my whole life for my tribe of people that I feel like we've all had things obviously done to us, and
Mhm.
we've all done things we're not proud of, but maybe
Mhm.
not to the level that have been done to us.
Yeah.
That being said, um, you know, it feels like home, tribe, community. I think everybody got this download that they were going to buy land and be off grid and
Yeah.
create their own currency. The matrix is very challenging because even though it's broken technically, it's like we still feel this semi plugged into where, where is it? You know what I mean? Like where, you know, is it in Arizona? Is it in Israel? Like, where is our place that
Yeah.
we're supposed to be as a collective?
Hmm.
But then I realized we're always home. The whole galaxy is our home, and we're home to a lot of people. Everything is a part of our creation, and maybe not everybody had that download or got that download, but I seen everything
Yeah.
that everybody is literally you walking around right now. And
Yeah.
so when you see it in that way, I think it makes you a little bit more appreciative of the journey. And so that's why even with this space, I'm like, nah, we got to do this for sure.
And it was so perfect, like, cause you're out and about, and I just happened to be like, "What? Like, can we do?" And I thought we were gonna record it on Zoom, like, you're on Zoom, I'm on
Yeah,
Zoom,
yeah, yeah.
and you're like, "No, I'm in LA. Like, let's link up."
Yep.
I was like, "Bet, say
Let's
let's."
do it. Let's do it.
And now here we are at the beach on the most clearest day. Like, you can see how clear and beautiful this day is. Like, it's perfection. It is perfection.
It's like there were so many chemicals in the sky this morning, and it's like we came here and we parted the sea, and so you know
Literally.
it's just like I said, it's just such a, again, being in this space, sharing this vibration. That's another thing that I learned, is that the frequency that you're in is also can activate somebody. So if you're in a low vibe, even though if you have great information, the message will never get through. Whereas we're now in the sun. I
Mm-hmm.
got my shoes off,
Mm-hmm.
like, and so, and you're vibrating off the sun, obviously. So we're in a frequency now where I really feel like this is going to affect some people's, brighten up their day. Even
Literally brighten up their day. You guys can't see Astro. Oh, you can. You can see the
Astro.
circle
Oh,
in the
by the
sky.
way, here's another synchronicity. Okay, we'll just say it. Her first name is my first girlfriend's last name. Her dog's name is Astro. I have a Houston Astros jersey. Astro is short for astronauts, but also Houston. I'm from
Mm.
Houston. So it's these little patterns and
Yeah.
synchronicities where we're living parallel lives at the same time. And
Hmm.
I always say, I am you and you are me.
Yeah.
So
I like to call them markers. I've
yes.
taught my friends about that. I'm like, look for the markers. Like your spirit team, the universe, everything around you is always offering you a marker. It's just, are you tapped in enough? And we all have the capability, because that's something else that I talk to people about, because they're like, well, I'm not intuitive. And I met a guy, I did a ceremony a couple days ago at this little store out here. Oh, if you ever go to San Diego, you should go by. It's really cute.
Okay.
And I walk in, this one guy's like, oh, it's so amazing. You're so intuitive. I wish I was intuitive. I was like, you are. He's like, no, no, I'm not. Like, really, really, I'm not. I was like, no, really, really, you are.
Yeah.
By the end of that ceremony that we had, he like read the heck out of me. He made me, oh, I'm not wearing it. He made me a little bracelet. Him and this other gal made me a bracelet there. And he was like, you're like Mother Ocean, and just starts reading my energy. And I was like, you're intuitive. You see what you
Yeah,
just did,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he was like, what? I was like, that was channeling what you just did. We all have it in us to be able to tap in, and tune out the stuff. I think is really key to getting to that space. What is a piece of advice you would give somebody that is starting their spiritual journey?
I think to start your spiritual journey, you know, a lot of it's just going to come down to recognition and seeing, again, basically to see the patterns in your life. And you feel like you have healing, if you feel like there's things that you can't hold on to, I believe plant medicines can be a powerful tool to help you let go of things and see that we're just spirits living in a human avatar, and that it's not always going to be the most enjoyable experience, but if you're willing to work through it, I think plant medicines, particularly mushrooms, helped me at the beginning of my journey to forgive a lot of the dark things of my childhood. That being said, if you want to really be in tune with the gifts, I'm convinced now that the natural way is the way. Fasting, what ironic is that I learned a lot on this journey. Like, for example, there's a day called the feast, I'm sorry, the fast of Jonah,
Oh,
right?
wow.
This is for going back years. It's a recognized holiday, 921, because I
Hmm.
see that number a lot. And Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. Obviously, if you're in the belly of the whale, you're not eating, right?
Yeah.
So that's, that's like a rebirth, because the whale ends up spitting Jonah out.
Hmm.
But it's the same thing with Jesus. Jesus, right? Crucified Friday, resurrected on a Sunday. So obviously he didn't eat.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of my awakening, they did a bone graft. I was laid up. I was in a wheelchair for a month, gained 40 pounds. I'm watching
Wow.
this program comes on about fasting. I'm looking at Jack from the original starter of Twitter, and he's worth $40 billion and he eats once a week. And I'm like, why is that? So then I was like, well, food's always been my drug, because I've been up and down
Yeah.
my whole life with weight. So the fasting really got me to tap in. I did 19 days last year. I went from starting the 3-day fast to I did 19 days last year. I just completed a 21-day fast. It is an absolute game changer where if you that can help you discern, it helps you wake up out of the coma because a lot of these cities are in tune to different
Mm,
frequencies that make you participate in low vibrational behavior.
mhm.
So if you don't have the ability to be off grid, but you are in a major city, then again, fasting, semen retention is another one I just discovered, which
Mhm.
is just basically our sexual energy is so. It used to be used for healing. Sex is a very powerful tool. We are meant to be in the love frequency, but you take on the trauma and the pain of that
Yeah.
other person. And if they're not on your frequency,
Mhm.
they're lowering your vibration.
Mhm.
And so you start to respect these things. So that was another one. And then the latest one, I got to talk about this really quick, is walking.
Oh,
And that
love
so do
walking.
I
Oh my
with, but
God.
I don't know if you do it with no headphones.
I call it raw walking.
Yeah.
Raw
Yeah, yeah.
walking is a tongue twister.
Oh, I got it.
But
I'm
I do
tweeting
that. I
that.
put my phone down. I put my phone down, everything. I'm like zoned. Astro and we got some miles under us. We love walking.
It's the most powerful tool that I've seen or that I've personally used. And I had this goal that I wanted to hit 1 million steps this month. So I started on 11/11. I did 40,000 steps. I did 40,000 steps the first 13 days. And then I got like this shin splint.
Mm.
I just calculated today. I have 300,000 steps left to get in 9 days,
Oh my God.
which I will. I'm going to do it, even though I'm in pain right now. But the signs and the messages come through, and everybody's in a happy frequency. Walking, if you do this combination of all at
Mhm.
the same time, I believe it's to me, you're just so open to what the universe wants to show you. You take the blinders off because most stuff they put in food or frequency or programming
Yeah.
or whatever we do, even sugar, right?
Mhm.
And you can't get the messaging in because you're in a different vibration. So to me, those are the best things you can do to start your journey and really just be open to what let go of so much of the ego. I had to let like trying to force things. I want to manifest this dream life, surrender to
Mm.
the universe and be guided. And
Yes.
when the signs come up, listen. And I always give this example in the beginning again of the pandemic. I really wanted some wine. I wanted some wine so bad. I had this frame on my arm and I was like, "Oh, and I go to CVS because everything's closed, right?
Mhm.
But the drugstore, and I go to the register and I got this bottle of red wine, and all of a sudden the register breaks, and then the alarm goes off,
Oh my God.
like, and I'm like, and the universe is telling me I already
Like,
know, and I had like a chocolate bar too. I got sugar and red
yeah,
wine.
you were on one. You're ready.
I was ready. So then I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for 5 minutes for them to fix it. Nothing happened. I go to the next register. That register breaks. So I'm there now 10 minutes and I literally looked and I knew what was happening. And I looked up at the sky and said, I know, but I want it
Let
anyway.
me be a
Yeah,
human.
yeah, yeah. So obviously I didn't punish myself for that, but it's understanding the universe will be so loud. When you
Yeah.
ask your higher self to open your heart and you're open to the message and willing to receive,
Mhm.
you get all the confirmation and everything you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister always tells me because I am stubborn, I am hard-headed, I'm a Scorpio, like I could dig my feet down and hold the ground. And she's always like, let it go without leaving claw marks. Cause I will
That part.
just but once you do, it's like this and we're talking about free flow on the way
Yep.
here. You're just floating. And when I meditate, I like to go into a floating state, just like traveling in the astros. And it's just when you let go, that is like when you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and the uncomfortability is letting go, surrendering. I mean, I got a tattoo, detach and surrender,
I
to
love it.
remind myself like that's the magic.
Yep.
That's where it starts. What is detachment and surrendering, and how do you sustain that?
Well, I believe so. Detachment for me looks like there's people that were a part of our lives. Um, I always use the people part because that to me that was the hardest addiction to get over is because I could never be alone.
Hmm.
But when you can detach yourself from those contracts, society will tell you your mom is your mom or your dad is your dad, and but a lot of times we take on tough contracts, and you have to tear up those contracts. So detaching from people is a big part. Detaching from anything that you don't see serves your higher purpose. It's just the ability to let go, and surrendering to me is like this is a download that I got the other day, but if I'm ever going to a restaurant and somebody spits as I'm going to walk in, I know that that food is absolutely garbage and being poisoned. These are just, that's a little one,
Yeah.
that's more of like a synchronicity. But when you surrender, you're basically saying, hey man, I've tried it my way. I'm tired of running my head against the wall. I've been doing this, repeating this cycle of patterns of people, places, things. I'm ready to go to the next level. And it might be painful. And you might lose some people. You might lose some sleep. But when you surrender, you're just free. Like you're free. Like I can't stress that enough. And you know, detachment, attachment. Don't be too attached to anything. Don't be attached to outcomes. It was
Mhm.
like so many people with the presidential election were so vested,
Oh my
thinking that there
gosh.
was a savior, a hero, when they can't see that they're all at the same country clubs, the same golf courses. We might not see it on camera,
Mhm.
but they all work together. And it's understanding that the system is our opponent, not an individual. And there is no Messiah. And that if nobody, if by now we are five years into the greatest mass awakening in world history. If somebody has a huge platform or is a billionaire or is rich and they haven't come out and said, hey dog, this is the matrix, man, let's wake people up. If they're not on that timeline of helping people grow and evolve spiritually,
Mhm.
then who are they? I
Yeah.
don't care what they do or how much money they put in your pocket. They ain't for you.
Mhm.
That's just trading one system for another. When you
Mhm.
see it for what it is, it's a beautiful game. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at anybody,
Yeah.
but I'm also not, we didn't come here to worship people.
Yeah, that part. Collective ascension is wild right now. I remember when I come from, I'm fourth generation energy worker. I have three generations before me that have done energy work. We talked about the choice in the beginning. You have to make the choice to want to change. I can't do that for you. But even somebody like myself that has like gone through generations of this, I've seen the pain and the struggle in the women before me and what they went through and how they were only able to do what they could with the tools they have, even their parents. The idea of forgiveness, like you mentioned, forgiveness is such, and that's something I'm personally going through with somebody in my life. Everybody in my life, and I can honestly say 99% of the people in my life are amazing and supportive. I'm so blessed with a tribe of people. Like, and I understand that's another reason why I created this podcast. Like, I saw that not everybody has that family and friend dynamic that I have.
Mhm.
So, but there's someone I'm struggling with forgiveness right now. It's so hard to forgive someone who has done you so wrong. And we talked about that in the beginning a second ago, too. But this person is a forever attachment, unfortunately, because, the family dynamics and whatnot.
Right.
What are your tips and tricks for forgiveness? Because a lot of us are coming to this like healing space of trauma and we're talking about trauma and we didn't before.
So, it, amazing question, and thank you for recognizing that. It's just hard for us to let a lot of things go because it's not one thing that a person can do to you that really gets you to that level of, because we, even since we were kids, you could always forgive people. You stole from me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you this, I couldn't let things go for my entire life. And then one day I made up my mind. I kept seeing that I keep repeating these loops. I keep meeting my mom or a brother or all these people through different avatars where it's the same energy coming through. And I'm like, why am I fighting this? And I just realized that I had to forgive. And what forgiveness looks like to me in the beginning is you lie to yourself. You have to tell yourself that you're forgiving them. Like, I forget, like you just get in this space where you're hypnotizing yourself to say that person didn't even know what they were doing to me. They didn't even know how deeply they hurt me or how much they pained me or I would sit around and cry at night. And so you just kind of rock yourself into believing that you've forgiven them,
Yeah.
because a lot of people think that they've forgiven people and then they just won't let shit go, or they bring up old things and that you could see the passion come back.
Yeah.
That's not forgiveness. You can recognize that you get to a space of healing where you say, we're all walking each other home through this journey. And I thank them for the lessons, because even the person who hurts you the most actually helps you the most. It's a weird thing. They get you to grow.
Write
And
that down.
yeah, we're, we're here to grow. So, like I said, in the beginning, you just convince yourself that you've forgiven them. And after a while, you start to really understand, I created that person. How
Mhm.
could you hate your creation? How could you not forgive your child? Whatever your child did,
Yeah.
it's a part of growth, is saying, I forgive you. And then the last part is, because a lot of times we think it's them, a lot of times you have to forgive yourself, because there's things that I regret that I've done in this life that um, I understand now at the highest timeline. We are all working through soul contracts, and what we do, we are multidimensional, and we're working through our ancestors. So what we do in the physical, for example, if I say something right now and I make you mad, you're not really mad at me. You're mad at a memory of a time when somebody made you feel small at an earlier point in life. We're just working through something, and now we have the chance to right that wrong, or forgive, or recognize it when it's happening and say, oh, I'm not feeding into that energy. It's the same thing. It's just practice. Once you get to a certain point and you see, I created everything, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah. And it really is like that. I know a lot of people don't necessarily align with the idea that we are a reflection of God, source, this higher power. I personally buy into it. I think that we're all a reflection of him. And if this highest power can forgive anything, can allow you into heaven and whatnot, if we go back to the Bible and stuff, that's something that we could argue that we should all be able to do ourselves.
Right.
And I think that's why I have my own personal situation with forgiving someone who really hurt me right now. Because there's other people that I 100%, God bless you, all, love and light, goodbye. But with this one, it's the test. It's a test of like, okay, you're ready to level up. We're going to bring this person back tenfold. Let me see. How are you going to handle that? So that's what I'm going through. So that's why I was like curious, like, I know some of you are going through that too. Because again, reflections.
It's the hardest timeline to do, is to forgive somebody, because I mean, people can get us out of character. They have us. If you can't forgive, you can't get. This bird keeps doing this. It's
See
crazy.
that?
It's like a Jesus bird. He's doing this thing behind you. I swear.
Floating right
Yeah,
there.
he was doing it right behind you the whole
Really?
time, and I'm just like, it
Oh
looked like
my
a Jesus
God.
bird.
Oh.
So, but it's the hardest thing to do, is to forgive anybody. And um, the number one trait that I could say that what most people don't have but should have is self-awareness, is understand when that it's just recognizing who we are and who we aren't. So when you recognize it in yourself, then you see the patterns of other people. And that's why I say, like, we're all the best life coaches in the world for everybody else, because you can see it plain as day.
Yeah.
Exactly what kind of person they are, and who they are and what their heart is. But when it comes to us, we just can't. I know I'm supposed to go on a water fast. I know I'm supposed to do, but we recognize that.
Yeah.
So this last part for you is, it's a part of your ascension. This is not from this lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's from this life. Maybe you do. I don't know. But everything we're working through, we are multidimensional characters. When you fully understand and awaken, you're not one person. People want to say, I did a past life regression and I was, I don't know, Helen of Troy. That's one of your lives, but it's all essentially a program. Jesus was Horus, Iosis, like all these characters the same. Jonah was Jason. So you're working through things from a previous life. And that's why the ancestors are so proud of us that we chose to come here at this time, because it is going to be hard. We've lived many lives in this one avatar.
Yeah.
How many different times have you changed career paths, relationships, the person you wanted to be? Like, it's been this evolution, and that's how you know you're not from here. We're like iPhones that are getting upgrades in real time that used to take a long time for us to upgrade, and now it's fast.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to put it. We're just these little iPhones getting our little iOS upgrades, our little human spiritual upgrades.
You just recognize it, because why we're always trying to find a way to hack our body for cheat codes, or what can I do this, or this spiritual gift, or how can I do this? We're always trying to up level and upgrade our ascension. But some people just stop. Some people, if you gave, that's why not a lot of people who haven't manifested money, that was never your path, because you can fall right back in the matrix. If I gave you $1 billion right now, you might say you want to change the world. It sounds good, but how many people were professional athletes or professional singers or actors that grew up in poverty that completely forgot where they came from when they got to the highest level? Now I understand it.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own karma and things to work through, but a lot of people lie to themselves and say, when I get the bag, when Bitcoin hits 100,000, I'm gonna go start a school. No, you're not, dog. Stop it. You're gonna buy something silly, which teach their own. It's not to judge, but
Well,
it's
let's be real.
understand. But
Let's be real.
but let's be real. Is that it's just understanding of you don't have to have the
Yeah.
bag to be a gentle, kind person.
Yeah.
And not everything that has monetary value is something that can enhance somebody's life. It could be one word, saying hi to somebody on the street, a complete stranger, when you hadn't said hi to anybody in months
Yeah.
because you just want to be to yourself with your energy. That's valuable too. So anyway.
And that's why we got Astro.
That's
He
why the
brings
car
so
started.
much joy. Look at
With the-
confirmation. Is it my name? He brings so much joy everywhere we go. I might have messed up his haircut and tried to, so don't mind his face. We went somewhere with that. But this has been so amazing. You are absolutely the best. This, I mean, the app, I mean, everything out here has been so calm and so, and it's just a reflection of you. It's a reflection of us, reflection of the space. One last thing I want to ask you
Sure.
is if we wrote a movie about you and there was a theme song, what would that be?
Um, there could be several, but this Tame Impala for just something that always takes me to a space, and this song "Let It Happen" is really sums up my life. Is just getting out of the ego, stop trying to force things, don't try to wake people up, but literally let it happen. Let life happen. Let love happen. Stop blocking yourself. Get out of your own way. Let it happen.
Wow.
Let wherever God wants to take you or your higher self or however your script goes in your movie, just let things happen. So Let It
Wow.
Happen by Tame Impala is really the one for me because yeah.
I think that might be the name of this episode. Let it happen.
There you go.
That is so
I
perfect.
love it.
Detachment, letting it go, surrendering, and just let it all happen. Let life happen for you and not to you, I think, is one of my most favorite ways to put life. This has been so amazing. I am so happy. I think we need to talk more about ego on another episode
Absolutely.
because I could go a mile a minute with that one, but I won't take any more of your time. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. I love what you're doing. You've been in this space for a while. Next time we got to come tell your story or go live or something because I know you have an interesting journey and an interesting path. Uh, and I believe your story will help a lot of people as well when you start to say,
Yeah.
talk about the world you came from too. So
Yeah.
you were in a tough space but again, I'm very thankful and grateful for this opportunity. And yeah, it's been a beautiful day. 122, your grandma.
Oh, I love it. And where can we find you on social media? Where are you at?
Book of Jonah Instagram, Jonah Rogers Facebook, Book of Jonah YouTube, and we'll be starting some other stuff soon, but we'll just start with Instagram. I use that the most.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
I'll
you.
link everything below so they could find you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.